Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Riverside Track and Field. Joining us is the coach, Evan Prall. Well, Evan, heck of a season this year for this 4x1 team. And there's some other contributors at Riverside as well. But let's first talk about putting together a 4x1 team and what kind of guys you have this year.
Well, first off, John, I appreciate your time. And, at Riverside, we always appreciate everything that you do for us and for the kids, giving them as much publicity as they can. And as far as this 4x1 team that we have this year, I was very fortunate in having two kids back from last year's team that did go down to Shippensburg and compete at the state level, in Nico Munley and Mikkel Green. And even last year, we had three guys back, and we were looking for one guy. So, I found Mikkel. He was a freshman, so I figured that we'd have him in the program for four good years. And, he's a solid contributor right now. And the same thing as Nico. When we got Nico into the track program, he first came out as a freshman. So, we have one guy right now that's on that team that has 4 years of experience. We have another guy that, although it's only his second year running track on the varsity level, he was a big contributor on last year's team that set the school record and, won a district gold and numerous other medals and advanced all the way down to Shippensburg. And now this year we have two new guys. One guy's Daryl Cintron, and the other is Joe Austin. And Daryl is a senior. It's his first year running track. And it's ironic because we joke with him all the time. He's a natural fit out there. And he didn't know too much about track at the time. He was a great basketball player for the basketball team. He was a point guard, big contributor there. And when we got him out there, and it was my first time ever having him on the field or on the track for anything, and I saw it myself. I was like, wow, this kid's going to be one heck of an athlete. And not only in the 4x1, he's also putting up an impressive time in the 200-meter dash. And he's also a part of our 4x400-meter relay team that took second at Jordan's the other night in Double A. And then we have Joe Austin, who's a sophomore. And, here's a kid with great athletic ability. He's got a nice stride to his run. And he's filling in for a big spot. He's taking over for David Sweetman there at the anchor for us. And, right now we have a nice mix of kids. We have two sophomores. We have two seniors. And then I have one other guy that was subbing occasionally, and John Tucker. That's Jimmy Tucker's brother, who actually took second in the state last year in the 200-meter dash. And John himself is only a sophomore. So, right now we're very excited about the kids that we have on our team and as well for the future.
Evan Prall here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers, as we talk about this 4x1 team at Riverside that a lot of people are talking about in the times. You guys have been very impressive with these times, and as you mentioned, the underclassmen and getting a first-year senior out there. Are you even that surprised at the time you guys have put up this year?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Heading into the season, I was a little skeptical as to what we would do. I knew Daryl was a runner. I knew Joe was a runner. You look at what Nico's doing right now. He ran an 11:09 FAT time down at Misericordia 2 weeks ago, and that's 7th in the state for Double A. So, you got a 4-year kid there that's really flying there in the 100-meter dash. And you take a kid like Mikkel Green, who's been around for a year and a half, almost going to be his second full year here in the next couple of weeks. And, he's a kid that started off with us running a 12 flat, and then he's running a handheld time of 11.34. So, you got some good kids that are working hard. And, they're coming to practice, and they know what they can do. They're just not going through the motions. They want to get better. They show up. They work hard. I'm very pleased with all of them. And, I couldn't be, more happier for a group of kids right now because, they really bought in. And our first meeting of the year against Lakeland, it's funny because Nico and I were joking, saying, he's like, Coach, we really don't have too much success in the beginning of the year, these first couple of meets in the 4x1. And, in the past, we've struggled on handoffs, and it really didn't pick up for us until about halfway through the year, about 2/3 of the way through the year. And, our first meet against Lakeland, we went out there and we ran a 45 flat. And I was like, all right, you know what? We got some guys here that are going to work and they're going to improve to get better as the season goes on, as the weather gets better, and as they find their stride. And then, that's exactly what happened with them all. And, we go down to Misericordia a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and they pull out a 44.28 SAT time, which would qualify for the state meet. And I don't know if any people know, but Daryl Fintron, he's our first leg, and he actually fell out of the blocks. He wasn't even set up when the gun went off. So, I mean, we know that, we could do some nice things this year as long as the guys continue to show up and work hard, and that's what they've been doing. And, I'm very pleased with them right now. And, we've had some great success in the past with some 4x1 teams. I mean, we've had some people like Andrew Mikovits, Corey Tallarico, Matt Brisky, Jim Tucker, Dave Streetman, those guys from last year that have been around. And, they've run some great times, set some school records. And, this team that we have right now, they're just, following in their footsteps. And, they're trying to, make a name for themselves.
The Vikings doing a great job of doing it on the track right now for Coach Evan Prall. And, Evan, I know you're proud of some of your other athletes that are out there competing. Tell us about some of the kids at Riverside that are out there doing their best.
First off, we were talking about John Plisco, who's only a junior, who's throwing in the mid 160s right now in the javelin, and for Double A, he's going to compete at the districts next Tuesday for a gold medal. He went down to Wilkes-Barre yesterday, and he took a second place to an athlete from Coughlin, and John went down there and threw a 161 on a grass field, and he dedicated himself. He went to a couple of camps, and he's fine tuning his skills, and he still has some room to improve. John will get better, and we're excited to see where he falls in the next week and a half. And then another kid who I'm very pleased with and extremely happy is Will Davies. This is Will's first year of a running track. He came out and 400 meter dash, first meet of the year. He ran a mid 53. I think it was a 53.4 around there, and that's not easy to do for anyone, especially being the first year, let alone being a sophomore. So here's a kid that we're going to have in the system here for 2 more years. And Will himself went out in Jordans and won 3 medals. So, he's run the 800, the 400. He's part of a couple relay teams for us, too. And, I mean, those guys that we just mentioned, they're total team players. And then, a guy that's improved a lot from last year is Randy Tinsel. His 800 time is down from about a 217 down to he ran a split of a 208 the other night at Jordan's. So, he's a guy that's working hard, too. I mean, he's coming every day. He's enjoying it, and, he's a leader. And, the guys that we've mentioned, they're all leaders. They're having a lot of fun, and they're making sure that nobody on any day slacks off.
Well, not big in numbers in the program at Riverside for track and field, but every kid you got quality kids that are out willing to give it their heart and soul, and you guys are out there practicing. It doesn't matter what day of the week. I know you guys will fine-tune your stuff any day of the week, and these guys work hard and trying to peak at the right time, and it's that time coming up. The league championships and the district championships all coming together, and hopefully you guys could send some Vikings down to states. Evan, we always appreciate your time.
Yeah, anytime, John. Like I said in the beginning of this, the kids appreciate it. They love everything that you do for Riverside and Riverside Track and Field. And I know last year you guys were up. You did a little segment on them for the 4x1, and those are some things that these kids that they remember. And we greatly appreciate everything.
Riverside Track and Field, Evan Prall doing a great job as always. We appreciate his time here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.